Hello and welcome back to Talking Giants, brought to you by SeatGeek. It is Halloween, October 31st, 2025, and the New York Football Giants are coming back home to face the San Francisco 49ers. Shaun, last week I said there's 10 games left, and I said it in a way that is exciting, and now I'm saying there's 9 games left. And it almost sounds like a threat once again. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm afraid of Kyle Shanahan. I'm afraid of Robert Saleh. I know these guys are going to be ready to play. But holy smokes, are they beat up? And then you look at some of the numbers and you look at some of the performances recently. And for obvious reasons, this isn't your same 49er team. How are you doing, Shaun?
I'm doing better, I guess, although... That's wrong. Let me reset that.
Sure.
I am doing better. However, as we sit here recording this, a couple days away from this game with the 49ers, this is as deflated as I felt all year, and that includes losing the game to Dallas, not having a kicker versus the Chiefs, obviously the Denver game, and I think it just goes back to the Cam Scadaboo injury is still not sitting well with me, man. Like, it makes me want to throw up. And the idea that this team is going to navigate, you just brought the Niner injuries the rest of the year without two guys that, I don't know, actually knew how to score touchdowns for the first time in a decade on this team with Neighbors and Scadaboo. It sucks. And I have not been able to get over the hump and get back on the horse here for Giant football.
Yeah, I had the thought that, if Joe Schoen speaks during the bye week and he brings up, we've had some tough injuries. I mean, man, and you're playing the San Francisco 49ers, and what probably is going to happen is the 49ers are going to take care of business against the Giants on Sunday. Man, if he has the gall to bring up injuries when I think the 49ers may be the most hurt team ever. And in years where they're not hurt, by the way, they go to the Super Bowl. I feel like that's how it's gone for them over the last couple of years.
No question about it, and nobody wants to hear a 49er fan crying because they stay competitive. Look, Joe Schoen can't bring up injuries at the bye week if you lose to a game or a team like the 49ers, because the reason the 49ers, and I think there's 5 teams that could overcome injuries and actually find a way to stay competitive. The Niners are one of them, right? The Eagles are another, just with these loaded rosters. The Giants certainly are not, and Joe Schoen can't excuse that away. It's on him 4 years in why the depth can't withstand injuries, and boy, is it going to be put to the test both in offensive weaponry here. Without your 2 top offensive guys, one of which was taken in day 3 of the draft this year. So that's just, an indictment. And number 2, just the secondary. What the hell are the Giants doing at cornerback here on Sunday?
And I don't think this 49er roster is awesome. Now, obviously, with their starters, they're very good. I don't even think the depth is very good. But you want to know what it is, Shaun? They got Robert Saleh and they got Kyle Shanahan.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to step all over you. It's the coaching and just the capability of the players within the coaching. Right.
Yeah, for sure. So let's start off with this Giants offense against this 49ers defense, because it's one of those things that you can believe when you look at who they lost. They lost Nick Bosa for the year. They lost Fred Warner for the year. There's other guys that are struggling with injuries too on that defensive line. They just traded for Keon White, who I think is he's definitely a decent NFL defensive lineman. But I think he's more or less a strong run defender for them. Not really going to be like this fast, quick guy that's going to get these quick pressures and whatnot. Shaun, they're last in the NFL in pressure rate in the NFL. And that's crazy to say for a Robert Saleh defense that, look at last year when he was with the Jets, and even look at the previous years when he was with the Jets and with the 49ers. They got after the quarterback. They run stunts. They are an aggressive front, and I still think they are aggressive. But right now, I just don't think that they have the horses. And right now, this goes perfectly in line for where Jackson Dart is at in his NFL career. Now, I think Jackson Dart has had some really good throws under pressure, but overall, when he's pressured, he has a 72.4 passer rating, 46% completion rate. All 3 of his interceptions while pressured. And when he's not pressured, he's completing almost 70% of his passes. He has 4 touchdowns and no interceptions and a 101.4 passer rating. So this very much is going in line. Now that I've done this preview, I actually am expecting this Giants offense, even without Cam Scadaboo, to maybe do something this Sunday.
I certainly hope so. And I think, look, you could read all of those stats and you bring up the completion percentage and everything. A lot of that is also tied to the fact that guys just have not made plays for Cam Scadaboo at times, especially on these third downs when he's looking down the field and a guy like Theo Johnson drops a pass, or Slayton or Hyatt are running free and they don't do it. So some of those stats are a little misleading, but to your point, with no Scadaboo, to me, that's more about the heart and soul and grit thing. I expect Tyrone Tracy to be totally active within the passing game on some of these blitz downs, be able to catch passes, use his speed to get down the field. I know we're going to talk about a certain guy that could be elevated here off the practice squad in just a little bit, and kind of his schoolyard mentality on some of these pressures and everything that happens, that being Ray McCloud. This is how the Giants are going to have to win this game, because we'll get to the defensive side in a little bit, as we always do on the podcast, but you cannot expect the Giants defense, the way it's set up right now, to give up, 17 to 20 points and call it a day. I mean, Jackson Dart is going to have to find a way against a defensive front that is struggling to get the Giants to 27 or more points. And even that may not be enough in a game like this.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Ray McCloud, and I don't know what fully his role is going to be. I love the reports on Wednesday that he was out there practicing with the first team, and it was Darius Slayton, it was Wan'Dale Robinson, and it was Ray McCloud. They've
and staying after practice.
Yes, which is awesome. Like I do think, I don't think he's going to set the world on fire, but what Ray McCloud provides, he's an NFL player who had a decent year last year, who was good after, like, yards after the catch wise, and there's metrics and stuff to back that up too. I just think it's an answer. It's an answer for Jackson Dart when we so desperately need answers, and right now, I think you look around and, like, offense on paper right now for the Giants isn't easy, because there's not these easy button, quick little solutions of just basically working the quick game and even the intermediate part of the field, and not even that Ray McCloud's going to go deep down the field and make a play, but
that's been part of
offense needs to be easy for the Giants, and that's what it's been with Jackson Dart through the first month. So hopefully
one of the beautiful parts about what Jackson Dart has done since he's come in is he set up for that Charger game in his first game with a big time game plan about, hey, Malik Neighbors is a gift to you. Get the ball to him as much as possible. And then he lost Malik Neighbors early in that game. Yeah. And from that point forward, you could talk about all the things that maybe you don't like about Jackson Dart and all the things that do impress you. But what I find impressive, and this is where I thought the Scadaboo injury really sucked, is after Neighbors went down, it wasn't as if the Giants offense went, okay, this guy, whether it's Slayton or Lil Jordan Humphrey or even Scadaboo, or I know Tracy got banged up. It wasn't like, all right, you have to replace all the value. Jackson Dart has taken a little bit of that, like, Josh Allen Bills mentality and spreading the ball all over the place, not putting too much on one person's plate. You never know any single drive where the ball is going. You still would rather have your alpha dog wide receiver, but that has been a credit to Dart that he's been able to use everybody. Wan'Dale Robinson. Where Ray McCloud comes in this is, I mean, one of the biggest struggles and where he went downhill, and you could point to where the numbers drastically dipped. Michael Penix with Atlanta is basically, I'm going to take shots down the field, and very Russell Wilson-esque, sucks in the intermediate part of the field.
Yeah, short,
where the short game, where McCloud would take those, where Cousins was using them and go scramble, run past it. I mean, that's his game, and I think that's where Jackson Dart's exactly going to use him. So if you're wondering what went wrong in Atlanta, and, well, you guys are counting on a guy that was waived, it's not that Ray McCloud's going to light the world on fire, but when you consider Jackson Dart spreading the ball to all parts of the field, it plays directly into the schoolyard ball strength of Ray McCloud. I'm very excited to see where that goes offensively here for the quarterback.
Yeah, last week against the Eagles, I mean, Dart's holding on to the ball for nearly 4 seconds per throw, and you just can't.
You can't. It's a learning lesson.
That can't be sustainable, and especially, like, even though you look at the deep ball. I know that's the tweets that's been going around this week is the deep ball percentage and that deep ball completion rate that's been going around the last couple of weeks. And
such an overrated stat. Now, look, we haven't loved the feet setting at times with some of the throws. You could certainly point to where I would rather his deep ball not duck out and die out. But he's also had some pretty damn good throws.
Yes.
Where he just doesn't have good enough receivers to go get him.
Yeah. Yeah. Darius Slayton is not separating enough. Jalen Hyatt shouldn't even be on the team. And, honestly, little Jordan Humphrey is out of practice squad elevations. So then I don't think he's going to be signed to the active roster. So Hyatt's going to stay on the team.
Especially since they went, right, and they placed Scadaboo and IR, and they got the kid from Cleveland at corner, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. I had this expectation and kind of a little bit of a low-key desire. Then maybe he'll be traded. But if he's not traded by the trade deadline, I think next week Jalen Hyatt should be cut and released, and Jordan Humphrey should be signed to the active roster. You'll have 3 activations for Ray McCloud. But I say this to say, I think McLeod, again, is going to provide an easy answer for Jackson Dart, so he's not holding onto the ball for 4 seconds, because that is where you're going to get in trouble with taking bad sacks, having these negative plays, and it's going to be so important if this Giants offense isn't going to be as explosive as it was, or as it can be. It's going to be so important for Dart to stay on schedule and get rid of that ball on time and quick.
Yeah, and I think Dart's going to be up to the challenge, too. I think ultimately this is going to be a motivated week for Jackson Dart off of the Scadaboo injury. He keeps saying all the right things. Boy, I've mentioned the Scadaboo injury like 14 times. Can you tell it's sitting in my head? I think he's up to the challenge, man. I think Jackson Dart, we can keep cursing here, right? Fucking hates losing that much that I think he's all over the tape with the Niners this week and how to use these receivers.
Where do you want to go to next, Shaun? Where do you want to go to next?
Can I go to something off the right? Just real 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a great shirt for those in the podcast world that can't see what he's saying. It's a draft vehicle. I love it.
Yeah.
Is that another John Boy
yes, it is. Shop.johnboymedia.com.
What do I got to do around here?
I have said to myself that I didn't, and I haven't said it to anybody that can actually do anything around here, that we have to get you some Talking Giants stuff and some JM football stuff. But do you know, like, are you aware of the usage of the word vehicle and like what it means
for a guy that's listened to the
power?
pod a long time? I got to be honest with you, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, I don't even say it all that much on Talking Giants. Because you can get a lot more kooky on JM football and like the stuff that we do with trivia. So I love the word vehicle. And we have our draft series on JM football every Tuesday.
More than you love the word EPA.
See, on this show, I like EPA a lot more.
Okay.
You got to get me in different contexts. So we do draft videos every Tuesday on JM Football, and I love the word like vehicle. Like, this is a Talking Giants vehicle. It's a John Boy Media vehicle. It's a It's a Tom Cruise. Days of Thunder is a Tom Cruise vehicle. Like, I love that word, and I love misusing it as well, putting it in places where it doesn't belong.
Okay, all right. This is a podcast vehicle.
This is a pod vehicle. Yeah, man.
What about the run game, Justin? We've talked a lot about the pass game. Let's go into the run game here.
Yeah, let's go into the run game. I do think, even though the 49ers numbers, they are not very good as a pass defense this year, where this year, hey, let's talk about EPA. They're 25th in EPA per pass, but they're 8th. They're a top 10 run unit. And what their strengths are is they do not allow yards after contact, but they allowed a little bit of yards before contact, and that is the opposite of what the Giants' strengths have been so far this year. Now, that does change when Cam Scadaboo goes down.
Also changes since the Warner injury a little bit as well. I mean, because that linebacker play speaks to what you're talking about with the yards after contact, not allowing those, but allowing the yards before contact.
But I still think Robert Saleh is going to have these guys in the right spots, and I think just his naturally aggressive tendency to shoot gaps and be aggressive in that tendency, I still think that is why, despite who is out there or who isn't out there for the 49ers, I still think run defense wise they're going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean they should be, but I'm really more interested here with the Giants run game in terms of, while we expect the Niners to be strong, what is the Giants' balance going to be between Tracy and Singletary? Are the Giants going to roll the dice as they did earlier in the year with the Tracy injury with just 2 running backs? Do we get a Dante Miller elevation? I got to be honest with you, as we sit here recording this, I think they're going to roll the dice with 2 backs. And are they putting this, 70% on Tracy's plate? Are we getting more Devin Singletary than we want to desire? Like, what is the Giants' strategy going to be? Forget the numbers and what the numbers say for the Niners in terms of how the Giants play their game on the run game in this week.
Yeah, I mean, when Tracy was down, they went in with 2 running backs, and it's something that we would bring up, especially you would bring up kind of here and there, like, I think this may bite them in the ass, this may bite them in the ass. And especially the crazy thing is, I know the new kickoff rules, guys don't really get hurt anymore, but still, if you're going to run Devin Singletary back there.
I don't think you're going to this week. Ray McLeod.
That is true. Ray McLeod and Gunner. But still.
If you're bringing up McLeod, you're not using him in the return game.
But even after Cam Scadaboo goes down, they didn't put Deonte Banks back there. It was Gunner and Devin Singletary, where they only had 2 healthy running backs.
Right. Well, because they don't have healthy cornerbacks, and now they can't even afford to put Banks where he's actually best as a kick returner. Thank you for the depth, Joe Shane.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But I say that to say, I know you're going to have to use Singletary a bunch. the Giants, I think we forgot because we got caught in Scatterboo fever, how much, outside of the fumbles, which sucked, how much we got like electrifying wise from Tyrone Tracy from that Seahawk game on last year, where he was, the flavor of the year from a rookie game. And I think the Giants can lean on him as a workhorse again. I think he'll be up to the challenge. When we entered the year thinking he was going to be the guy, and Scatterboo quickly took over categories. I'm very excited to see Tyrone Tracy kind of back in the mix here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I want from Tyrone Tracy is to just be a confident runner, because I've gotten the vibe from him this year that he hasn't been himself and especially what his rookie year was. I honestly thought one of his best carries on the year was the first carry after Cam Scatterboo goes down, where he was just running through somebody's face. Like it almost looked like he wanted to set a tone himself. So I think he needs to find that balance between, all right, I got to go forward and I just got to put my head down and I got to get my 5-6 yards. But also I don't want him to lose that. I call it, he lulls people to sleep, Shaun, where there will be some plays where, if it's going towards the tackles, or even if it's going outside the tackles, not just basically right up the gut, where he'll allow his blockers to set things up and get in the right spot, and he'll kind of like hide behind him, stay behind him, and then he'll make that one cut and then go. And that's how a lot of his explosive runs against the Seahawks happened. I want Tracy to kind of find that balance, because I do think Tracy can be an explosive runner. It's not just about 4, 5, 6 yard gains and staying on schedule.
It's so funny you say that. That is absolutely the strength of Tyrone Tracy's game. And our good friend, my colleague, Tiki Barber, who I love when he breaks out the iPad and he's like showing me the tape and going through, like, one of the coolest things about working with Tiki is when he goes through the tape with you, because it's not like sitting there on your own. Like he points out, he was pointing out to me how that's the one weakness in Cam Scatterboo's game, is the idea that if Cam Scatterboo just kind of gives that pause like Tracy does, how many, different lanes open up. But that is Tracy's strength. And so you might get, in a weird way, more, and wait for this word, explosive run plays by introducing the way that this Giant team is blocking better up front and actually gets a little more patience out of the backfield now.
Yeah, certainly.
Boy, Justin, we got to pick you up, man. I don't sense excitement for this 49er game. I could tell it in your face.
Because my heart says don't even dare get excited for this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then my brain is looking at it, and they just don't have. I'm gonna go through the Wednesday injury report that they have. Jake Brendel, the Niners. Jake Brendel, their starting center, do not practice. Alfred Collins, do not practice. I really hope he plays, because that was one of my favorite interior defense alignment from Texas.
Remember that.
From this past draft class. Yetur Gross-Matos, who isn't that good to begin with. Knee and hamstring, did not practice. Bryce Huff, hamstring, did not practice. They have Sam Oku from Tennessee that played for the 49ers the last couple years. I think he has like 2-3 sacks this year. Ankle, did not practice. Ricky Pearsall, knee, did not practice. D. Winters, linebacker, did not practice. Jordan Elliott, defense tackle, ankle, did not practice. Brock Purdy, did not practice. Upton Stout, limited. I'm getting guys to now that are limited, but the Giants, especially offensively, should score some points, because they don't have names. They don't have players, Shaun.
I agree. This is what it comes down. That's why I told you. What's your magic number for the offense in this game? Because I know we're going to talk about our defense. My magic number is 27 points.
Yeah, I think they should. I'm expecting 23-24. That's what I would like to see.
I don't know if 23-24 is going to be enough, and that's what scares me.
Oh no, it may not. No, it's definitely not going to be enough.
Best player on the field still is Christian McCaffrey on the other end with outside zone runs, which I know we're going to get to with our defense and the way it sucks on that. But I think if you're not touching 27 points in this game, you are playing with fire and losing the game.
Yeah, how I feel about this Giants offense and how I feel about this Giants defense heading into this game are two totally different ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. I think most would feel that way, which is probably, if we're doing gambling terms, start betting the over now.
Dangerous game to play when Cam Scatterboo goes down. All right, Shaun, let's I'm going to be honest, I didn't love that. I kind of came into this saying, I don't really love my notes for this episode. I didn't love that preview. I didn't do a good enough job.
No, it's not that. It's not that. The problem is, Justin, and I love you. You love me back. This game, because of all that's gone down with the injuries, the numbers in many ways you could throw out. You can, because you're about to see now for the third iteration a different looking Giant team, and the Niner team, the way guys are coming in and out, the numbers aren't going to be linear in a matchup like this because it's not. There's just too many injuries on both ends to stare at, the percentages on each side and think that plays, because there have been different guys and different ramifications. I'm terrible with the names today. Different, just people out there for the 49ers on a week-to-week basis that you're lumping all the numbers together and it doesn't tell the story. That's the problem. So this is not a week you have to beat yourself up about research. The numbers aren't going to tell you a story about what's going to go on.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. All right, let's pick up the pace on the second end here. We got Talking Giants listeners ready to go. What do we got for the defense?
Come on, Jackson Dart, Ray McLeod, save us.
All right, let's go.
But before we get to the defense, because, you know what? I will bring the energy with the defense because I hate them and I can't stand them. So, but let's talk about Shopify first. This video is brought to you by Shopify. Shopify is the best place to start and grow a business, which is why we partner with them here at John Boy Media. John Boy Media has relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new /line site, where you can get this shirt. And it was a dream. We brought the ideas, and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life really is a touchdown when you have Shopify on your side. Shopify Sidekick, Shopify Magic, and the suite of AI tools are a total game changer. It's revolutionizing the way you can build and manage a business. You'll have your own AI assistant guiding you on everything. Directions, reports, editing images, content ideas, Shopify's got your next move covered. If you're ready to take that business idea from a draft to a reality, it's time to head over to shopify.com/giants. Shopify is the perfect partner for any business roster, so make sure that they're on yours today. Shaun, it's funny you mentioned that you want to throw out the numbers for this game.
Maybe
because you have to.
Maybe that was harsh, but...
No, but I don't care what the numbers say about how bad the 49ers rush offense is. I don't care that Christian McCaffrey's averaging like 3.5 yards per carry.
What do you have, 24 yards last week versus that Texans front?
They've also played a very difficult schedule when it's come to opposing defenses. And the one defense that they played that was a below-average run defense unit was the Atlanta Falcons, and they almost put up 200 yards. Mm-hmm. Throw everything out. If Kyle Shanahan is Kyle Shanahan and what he does and what he is the best at in the NFL, and he's the godfather of this, I am going to just find the weak part of your defense, and I'm going to attack it over and over and over and over again until you find some sort of way to stop it. The Giants, and this is not exaggeration, the Giants are the worst run defense when teams run outside the tackles over the last decade. They have the worst success rate. The worst success rate allowed when teams run outside the tackles. Well, that doesn't sound like just a Shane
Bowen problem then.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because this is the second straight defensive coordinator. I'm not saying Shane Bowen's fucking Steve Spagnuolo, but this is the second straight defensive coordinator that they literally have a track record of not just being top 10, top 5 in run defense. They literally have a track record of having number 1 run defenses in the NFL. Second defense coordinator in a row where they've had awful run defenses, and the last 3 years the Giants' run defense has been awful. And I kind of went into this on Wednesday's show without going into interior linebackers and how the Giants have chosen to prioritize safeties over run defense, and that's really working out great for them. So 49ers are going to run outside zone. That's what they're going to do. Christian McCaffrey is going to run outside the tackles and outside zone, and they should kill the Giants and run for over 200 yards on Sunday.
They should. They should. Best player on the field is Christian McCaffrey. Now, the question with the outside zone run stuff is, you mentioned the 49ers, some injuries along that offensive line. This has not been your prototypical 49er offensive line, which has also played into some of their struggles on the ground. But, yeah, I mean, go back to your bread and butter, and I expect Kyle Shanahan to do that. So what does that mean? How can the Giants, in some way, shape, or form, wake the fuck up and not allow this to happen? Well, first and foremost, this is where losing a Cordell Flott now even, which I can't believe at the weight he plays at, he could tackle, play on that. That's going to kill them in this game. Deonte Banks actually did a better job last week of not biting and losing contain, but by doing that, he was soft as shit in terms of tackling too. So
Always.
I guess I live with the idea that, he's learning not to let the outside contain break and have him go off. But still, I need more physicality, which I wouldn't expect to have. Drew Phillips is going to have to bring some of the thunder. Look, if you're going to get beat and have penalties, the strength of Drew Phillips' game is just running up, playing that way. And this is where, and Justin, we don't know this at the time. I know Javon Holland did more work than Adebo did, where hopefully maybe we're trending through Holland playing. If they're allowing him to play, I mean, Newbin can't be taking bad angles, but that allows Dane Belton to go back to doing what Dane Belton does best and kind of lay the tackle with this just has to be a no bad tackles game. I know that sounds very stupid, but it's true. You cannot allow broken tackles, even if you're allowing to get to the second level. Muasau, his speed is going to kill you sideline to sideline in a game like this. But last week, you get a hand on a defender, make the fucking tackle. That's what's got to happen in this game.
Christian McCaffrey is 8th in the NFL in receiving yards, and he's 13th in rushing yards. Isn't that crazy?
I'm telling you, though, that is where having Javon Holland in this game is actually really important. Really important. Because you need Dane Belton to play that hybrid linebacker third safety role. You can't keep challenging your depth and then having Raheem Lane get run over later in the game.
Raheem Lane.
He was playing last week. We love his sleeves, old school, like Omar Stoutmire, but got to play.
Yeah, they're also a pretty good passing offense too, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
Well, the pass rush has to get after if it's Mac Jones or Purdy in this game. You almost live with the fact that you're going to give up yards on the edge on the ground. You go back to the old Thurman Thomas game plan here of Super Bowl 25. To me, I live with the idea of you getting killed on the ground, then play the bend but don't break. Don't allow them into the end zone. They're going to keep churning up yards, let them do field goal tries. You can't lose this game because Mac Jones or Brock Purdy is dropping back and tossing for 300 on you. The pass rush has to get after it.
Yeah, I mean, Trent, you want to know something with Trent Williams that shocked me? His pressure rate, he's allowed the 10th highest pressure rate amongst left tackles this season. But this isn't a game show. I don't want to talk about pressures at the end of the game. Pressures or something.
Get fucking sacks.
You got to get the quarterback on the ground. Because you want to know how you stop Christian McCaffrey from doing what he's going to do in the receiving game.
Yards lost on sacks, man.
Negative plays.
Yep.
Take the ball out of Christian McCaffrey's hands. And that's how you're going to do it.
Do we get Abdul Carter's first full sack?
I hope so. I hope so.
No, I don't want to fucking hope so. Give me a yes or a no. Boy,
I'm saying it every week. Yes, because he's playing great. He's playing good football. So is Kayvon Thibodeau. So is Brian Burns. They're all playing good football. They're all good football players. And so is Dexter Lawrence. It's not great football. It's good football.
Good football.
For Dex. You know what? Let's talk about that. It's a big talking point right now. What did you think about his response to Carl Banks saying that your opponents don't respect you?
I liked it. First of all, let me just say this. They're both right and wrong. Opponents are respecting Dexter Lawrence. He is still facing double teams at a pretty high, slightly less than last year, but a pretty high clip. What gets lost in the whole thing, we're fighting semantics here, and Dexter Lawrence is answering back to semantics. He could call Carl Banks delusional, which is fine, because the tape that Dexter Lawrence is watching is telling you that you're still facing double teams. But here's the difference. Dexter Lawrence just isn't dominating. I mean, it's not like double teams are a new thing in Dexter Lawrence's repertoire. He looks off. I don't know if he's unconditioned or whatever. So Carl Banks, for all his warts, in terms of not criticizing the team enough when I think some of us want him to, which leads to so much infighting on Twitter, which is just insane. Imagine our kids one day fighting with Antonio Pierce about coverages and stuff on Twitter. That's what Carl Banks does. It's crazy to think about. That's an all-time Giant. But he finally steps up and criticizes a big-time leader on the team, and then we all kind of revolt as fans and going, how dare you, this, that, the other thing. Do we all agree that Dexter Lawrence is not dominating at the clip we've seen him dominate the last couple of years? Then what the fuck are we arguing here?
But Shaun,
we're arguing the amount of double teams.
That's a strong statement. That's not just you got to pick it up.
It's your opponents don't respect you.
I think that is a crazy thing.
He went a little too far, but you know what? At the same time, is anybody listening to Carl Banks, and is it making headway back to the locker room if Carl Banks goes, Dexter Lawrence isn't playing as great as usual. No. Maybe it's a little radio hot take.
That shouldn't be his job.
Okay, you're right. It shouldn't be his job. But as a big-time force on the defensive front that maybe is at his snapping point after 10 years of watching shit football, Carl Banks is tired of watching leaders on this team. Dexter Lawrence is also a leader on this team. Look like dog shit this year. And Dexter Lawrence, dog shit's the wrong word. Dexter Lawrence has been a good player for this team. He just hasn't been a dominant force.
Right.
Maybe there was some kind of sicko layered way that Carl Banks wanted this to get back to Dexter Lawrence. Is the only way it does is if you really say something that makes them press on it. Now, I hope that Banks takes it with stride that he got called delusional, because that comment is a little delusional. But I really didn't have a problem one way or another. I just think we're missing the point. The point is, semantically, it doesn't matter. He's not being dominant. Why is that? And Dexter Lawrence said the elbow is not an issue. So why is it? Justin, you tell me. Why the fuck isn't he dominant this year? It can't be double teams because you face double teams. You're not dominating. By the way, when you're only getting doubled 74% of the time, 26% of the time you're getting single teams. You're not dominating those.
I think it could be I think it's a fluke thing too, like sacks, and nobody's getting sacks on this team besides Brian Burns.
Okay,
nobody's getting sacks on this team.
I'm not even talking about sacks though. There were times last year where Dexter Lawrence would just come racing through, arm up, and it wasn't even about sacks, but you just saw him every single down.
Yeah.
There were times we get to the third quarter this year, Justin. I'm like, is Dexter Lawrence playing?
And that I do. So I think it's a combination of multiple things where, yes, he is not the same defensive player of the year caliber player that he was last year. I also think the fact that he's not lining up on the nose tackle as much as he was in previous years is a huge factor of it too. And you want to know what? And it's the same argument that we would have back and forth when Leonard Williams was here. And this is kind of Leonard Williams' career. One year you can have 10 sacks, 11 sacks, 12 sacks and set the world on fire. And another year you could have 2 sacks, but you're the same type of caliber player, because sometimes shit just doesn't go your way as an interior defensive lineman. And that's just how it works in the NFL.
But we were all smart enough watching Leonard Williams to know. I know you and I were, I know, but like you could see what he was doing game in and game out, even if the stats didn't tell you. You could be like, well, look at him eating it up in the run game right now. Are you really feeling that way about Dexter Lawrence this year? I'm not.
In the run game, I still think he's good. As a pass rusher, that's where you just need a player that you're paying that money, and honestly, he probably even wants more money. That is where you need the hits and the sacks to show up more. That's where
I'll be honest with you. I don't think Dexter Lawrence is in shape still. I think the offseason program with the elbow, I think it threw him off. He's a guy that's a big enough body anyway that his in shape is not about losing 20 pounds. He just looks, even last week on the side when you get that shot over something, he looks gassed constantly. That was not the Dexter Lawrence that we knew. And then he was sick earlier in the year. He had the kid. There is something off with Dexter Lawrence. But the problem is if he comes out this week and he looks different and he's ultra motivated, that's where it goes back to coaching too. Why is it taking the radio analyst of the New York Giants to light a fire on the Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah. And also another critique that I have of going after Dex is, I feel like there are plenty of other people on this team to go after that wear a C on their shirt.
Slayton.
Darius Slayton. Bobby Okereke.
I agree.
Like, what?
But maybe that's Carl Banks looking at those guys as, you know what? They're Giant. I mean, I know Slayton's a lifetime Giant. They're Giant hearing that. I mean, you view Dexter Lawrence as a Ring of Honor guy, and Carl Banks is a Ring of Honor guy. So maybe it's just one of those, like, I view you in the class of me, and that's why I feel comfortable ripping you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Strong. That is a strong thing to say about a player that I think has sacrificed a lot for this team.
Sure.
That has played really good football for this team, and that could easily look at this situation and say, you want to know what, man? I don't want to be here. I want to get the hell out.
I briefly said this on Evan and Tiki, and I'll say it here. Carl Banks is somebody that oftentimes he looks to protect over crush, right? I think we all agree on that. And it's not a knock on him. It's just, look, he's around those guys all the time. When Carl Banks finally gets critical of somebody, Joe Judge, go down the line. I know this has existed with players in it, McKinney before, he wasn't brought back. When he starts to say something negative about somebody, it's usually because within that organization, you almost feel like, whoa, did he get the green light that something's happening here?
Yep. And that's also a scary thing.
That's my worry right now is behind the scenes, is it not public? I mean, maybe Dexter Lawrence has gotten tired. And who could blame him, by the way? Tired of the losing, seeing another season go elsewhere, where maybe there's been some murmurs behind the scenes that our reporters haven't picked up on, and maybe are we on the verge of like a? I hope that's not the case. I wouldn't blame Dexter Lawrence if it was the case, but Carl Banks' track record of not crushing players or coaches, and when he does, and what happens to those guys after, where you suddenly feel like it's almost like the wink, wink. All right, Carl, this guy asked out, go after. Yeah. Like I don't know if that's happening, but that's at least there's enough evidence in the past Carl Banks, when he trashes people, that tells you something's up.
Suddenly we're talking bad about Tay Crowder, and then a week later he's cut.
It's weird how that happens with Carl.
No, it's with all of them too. It's with all of them that do like pre and post and stuff like that. And that's just a tendency. It's not a shot. It's just a tendency to kind of key up on as a fan of when certain conversations start happening. It's like, what does that mean?
So I'll close this point with this. If next week the trade deadline comes around and we find out that Dexter Lawrence has in fact been traded, and I think that would,
ripples would.
But I would say this. After Carl Banks' comments, would you be stunned? I would not.
I would be stunned. I would be stunned if Dexter Lawrence is traded.
See, I wouldn't be now after the Banks comments. I'm not telling you it's going to happen, but I would go back and go, something was cooking. That's why Banks went after.
I would be stunned. Especially when this, I do believe the report of ownership doesn't want this regime to do anything, because who knows if they're, who knows if they're going to be here, but we all know what should happen.
Right.
Do not do that. I may find a pitchfork in New York City and bring it on and bring it in this office and have it next to me as we do a reaction stream or something like that.
If we got a first round pick, would you be pissed?
I would need at least 2 first round picks.
Okay. All right. Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. All right, Shaun. So the 49ers, we're doing a great job with this. The 49ers, they run the ball a lot. They have been running it well, but they're going to run it well against the Giants because there's Christian McCaffrey, and they're going to run outside the tackles, and Kyle Shanahan's going to run outside zone. Trent Williams is going to pull, and he's going to be athletic, and Trent Williams is going to be Trent Williams, even though he has allowed a decent amount of pressure this year. The way that the Giants are going to win, their path to victory is putting the damn quarterback on the ground when he drops back to pass. But still, the 49ers offense and even their passing offense has remained somewhat decent. They're 10th in 20-plus pass yards this year, and they just seemingly find a way at 5-3, despite them being probably the most hurt team in history.
Great. I'm petrified of Christian McCaffrey in this game.
Me too. I don't care what the numbers say. I'm not even gonna go in it. Shocking to see how bad the efficiency stuff is. But they played one below average run defense so far this year, that being the Atlanta Falcons, and they nearly put up 200 yards rushing.
Would you classify the Giants as a below average run defense?
Yes, I would. Maybe even worse than that.
Just testing you.
All right, I want to give
I was going to say, you're going to go Christian McCaffrey in our touchdown draft or what?
Maybe. I want to give a quick shout out to Nike because we are an affiliate. Partner with Nike this year. You can go down to the link in our description to use the Nike affiliate link. Get yourself some Giants gear. Get yourself some Knicks gear. Will them to win more basketball games. I'm confident about the Knicks.
Different kind of regular season for the Knicks this year. Going to lose more games than you think.
I like it. I like demanding more out of more players.
I agree. And then come the postseason, they will be a lot fresher than getting their legs run out on the Tibbs. But this isn't talking Knicks. This is
that's what Aaron Boone says about the Yankees, that everybody's going to be rested. All right, so the touchdown draft. This is what we do every single week here on this show. The standings remain the same. I have a total of 1,640 points. The way that we do points on this touchdown draft is we take the odds that are listed on the DraftKings Sportsbook, and then whatever your profit is, if you bet $100, that's what you ultimately score.
Mm-hmm.
Shaun Morash, you have a 660. Isn't that the AM number for
it
WFAN?
Is. It is.
How do you like that? We both went 0 for 3 this past weekend. I drafted Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a couple passing touchdowns, did not have a rushing touchdown. So I went 0 for 3. You also went 0 for 3 with a worse draft. Lil Jordan Humphrey, Wando Robinson, and A.J. Brown.
I can't believe
my 3 no's were better than your 3 no's. I will say.
Yeah. Well, I also drafted somebody that didn't play in the game. Not a good sign.
Yeah. So score remains the same. And a funny thing about the status of this game this weekend, Shaun, is we will have to update the odds whenever they become listed and whenever they become fully public, because for every single other NFL game this Sunday, or at least the most of the ones that we looked at, every single other NFL game this weekend, there are odds listed for a lot of players to score touchdowns. But for the Giants versus 49ers, since the injury reports of both teams are so crowded, they only list Christian McCaffrey's odds, Tyrone Tracy's odds, George Kittle's odds, and Jackson Dart's odds. Those are the only odds that are listed as of our taping of this show.
I love this. We're flying blind. I kind of like it because you're going to draft without knowing full-on odds here.
All right, so
what are we doing? What are we doing about our top 5 rule here?
It remains the same.
So who are those guys? Let's see. Do we have those listed in our
Let's
sheet
decide
here?
you and me right now. Who would be the 5th most likely person in this game to score a touchdown?
So the top 4 are Dart, McCaffrey, Kittle, and Tracy.
It's Christian. Yeah, McCaffrey 1, and then going down to Dart being 4. Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, it's probably Juwan Jennings.
I have Juwan. I put Juwan Jennings 5th just as
he's the number 1 wide receiver,
thought.
especially with Pearsall hurt. I think it's Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings on the year, 1 touchdown, but he's played in 6 games.
Well, this is a team that's struggled last week versus Houston. I mean, how could you? When you're right, you want to argue Wan'Dale Robinson, I guess, but I
always don't like how high Wan'Dale's odds are. If I'm making the book here and if I'm deciding this, I put Theo Johnson 5th. But it probably will be Juwan Jennings.
Because you're going to lean to the team that's favorited in the game. Remember that when you do the odds.
Yeah. All right, so who has the first pick?
I think you went first last week.
So you have the first pick.
I'm not screwing around. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey.
If I had the first pick, I would do the same thing.
I'm not playing around this week.
Not playing around.
I'm taking Lil Jordan Humphrey last week. I got 2 defenses the week before. Enough dicking around.
I will be taking George Kittle. So
right.
That was a bad. You know what? I'm not going back from it. I should have waited to take George Kittle because
you had all the flexibility in the world to pick apart.
All the flexibility.
Yeah. That's just not paying attention, dude.
Not paying attention to the details.
Okay, I'm next.
Yep.
I'm taking Theo Johnson.
Oh, damn it. I really screwed that up.
Mm-hmm.
God, who on the 49ers is going to score? Who on the 49ers is going to play? Jake Tongs leads them in touchdowns right now. The crazy thing is you're probably Christian McCaffrey is probably just going to score a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
Yep.
He has three apiece on the year. And I cannot take Jackson Dart. People don't talk about Brian Dable's accent enough.
I don't think I've ever noticed it.
Dart, it's hard to win in this league.
I guess you're right.
Yeah,
a little like pirate-esque.
The AR. Ray McLeod.
Damn, all right. You went with Ray.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to take Jake Tongs.
Nice.
I'm confident this week, baby. I'm back.
And I have one more.
Ooh.
Kendrick Bourne gets his first touchdown of the year.
Wow. A Bourne identity for you.
Yeah, I really like him.
The movie or him?
Him.
Oh,
never seen the movie.
None of the Jason Bourne movies? You never saw him?
Oh, that's a lie. They kind of blend in.
I agree. They're a lot like the Fast and the Furious. How many do you need?
Kind of blend in. All right, so Shaun has Christian McCaffrey. Shaun also took Theo Johnson and Jake Tongs, 2 tight ends. I took George Kittle, Ray McLeod, and Kendrick Bourne. Ew.
I think I'm going to get one on you this week, bud.
I think you may get one. Ooh,
one more thing I just want to bring up because it's really terrible to talk about, so we'll talk about it here before we get to like our picks.
Yeah.
Remember the team that started everybody's worry about how bad the MetLife turf was?
Oh, wasn't it this team?
You have an injured 49er team coming in on this turf. Just saying, if the Giants win this game, I really don't want to. I'm not rooting for this at all. Couldn't you see just more outcry about the MetLife turf from the 49ers in this game?
They're running out of players. I don't even
I know, which is going to have them on edge. Just keep an eye on that in this game. If you get
that was the Jets game, right?
Was it or was it the Giant? I think it was a Giant game.
Because the last time that they were here, it was it was that primetime game where they got the crap beat out of. That was probably one of the lowest I've been as a fan, just watching Daniel Jones just get demolished in 2023. I think that was right after we beat the Cardinals too.
That Thursday night game, that was on the road. Yeah.
They also came in here when Joe Judge and Patrick Graham were here, and they beat the crap out of us then. Game? But there was also a game where they played the Jets.
Let's see.
Might have even been a Zach Wilson game.
Maybe. Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas in 2020 on September 24th tore ACLs on the turf.
All right, so that was probably against the Giants.
September of 2020. Interesting. Okay. Just putting that out there. I'm just putting that out there because the 49ers are banged up. There aren't many guys left, and they were the team that complained the most about the turf. I'm a big fan, and you learn this in radio. You want to be ahead of a subject before it happens.
I was right before I was wrong. It was
Jets?
49ers Jets 31-13 September 20, 2020.
Okay.
So it was the
I don't
Jets.
know why I pictured the Giants, but maybe I'm just used to watching the Jets crappy football too.
And Kyle Shanahan has historically kicked the crap out of us. So
yes.
All right, let's get to spread picks. Spread picks are brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings is sponsoring spread picks on the touchdown draft this year. That's where we get our odds. Thank you to DraftKings. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot and an even bigger payout. Love the thrill of live betting. DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. New customers bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass and $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code JAMFootball. That's code JAMFootball to get $300 in bonus bets instantly if your first $5 bet hits, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Last week, Shaun, I went 4 for 8. You went 5 for 8. On the year.
Hold on. You went 4 and 4.
Oh, that's right. It's written. Damn it.
You're doing the score thing, but in like that. That was on with
because
Revival.
It's written in the spreadsheet like this, and I need to get it out of my head.
4 for 8 is not how you say it. You went 4 and 4. I went 5 and 3. Jesus Christ. Because anybody listening is going 4 for 8.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right.
So on the year, you're 27 and 13, and I'm 17 and 23. I got that right.
We call that an ass kicking.
Belt to ass. Thursday Night Football, thrilling game. Ravens at Dolphins. Ravens are favorites on the road. 7.5 points. Shaun, what's going to happen?
I'm taking the Dolphins to cover in this game.
Yeah.
Everybody is all over the idea that Lamar's coming back. That just means all systems go. They might win. The Ravens defense still sucks.
Awful.
And Miami's got to feel a little better about what they did. And Thursday Night Football's been wacky. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover here with the hook.
I am also going to take the Dolphins to cover. I made a move in, there's a fantasy football league that I'm in, my home league where I'm 7-1. And I recently made a move because Jalen Hurts is my starting quarterback, so he's on a bye this week. So I made a move I initially picked up Tua, but But I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel great about that, even though they're playing a really bad Ravens defense. So instead, I traded for Daniel Jones.
How about that? What an era to live in.
What a world. So hopefully that decision doesn't come to bite me in the ass. I do think the Dolphins will cover, though. Broncos at Texans. Texans are home favorites by 1.5 points.
Two really good defenses. Patrick Surtain out this week, not covering Nico Collins. I'm going to take Houston.
It's what is happening with this? Houston's offense finally started to look a little bit better, even though I think that 49er defense is really just banged up.
Denver better at home too.
I really want CJ Stroud to figure it out, but I don't think it happens against this Broncos defense. Give me the Broncos to cover the 1.5.
Love the under in that game.
Yes. Falcons at Patriots. Patriots are home favorites by 5.5 points. Does the Drake May MVP fever continue? I say yes. I am a known Falcons hater. I don't care who is at quarterback, and I'm a Drake May lover right now. So give me the Patriots.
Patriots' strength of the whole team is their run defense. What the hell are the Falcons going to do if Bijan Robinson and Algier are getting swallowed up? I'm with you, man. I'm taking the Pats. As long as that's under a touchdown, I don't know how you don't take New England in this game.
Why do they trade away Keon White in a year that they're 6-2?
Well, remember, though, this is all started with Vrabel. I mean, who was the Duggar they couldn't figure out how to use? Vrabel's doing a pretty good job of, we're going to win games while I get the guys that aren't my guys out of here.
Yeah.
Boy, it'd be nice to have a Mike Vrabel.
Colts at Steelers. Colts are 3-point road favorites. Shaun, who do you got?
I'm taking Pittsburgh at home.
Oh, no.
I'm such a call me a hater. At some point, the Colts aren't going to look like the greatest show on turf here. And their schedule's about to stiffen, starting with the Steeler game. I'm taking the Steelers.
So I finally decided to take the shot and swallow the pill, which you're not supposed to do that at the same time. I finally looked at Daniel Jones's Pro Football Reference page this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I could cry. The dude is throwing the ball deeper than he's ever thrown it before.
He has.
I mean, his offensive line just totally kick ass, which helps here. But his sack rate is
he's
the lowest that it's ever been.
Yeah. I'm not hating on Daniel Jones because I liked him for a long time. I was one of the last people to still like him, and then I finally gave in. The truth about this situation is he's in the perfect spot, right? They have a better run game than the Giants ever had with Saquon. Jonathan Taylor is I think he's the league MVP. The offensive line's great. Their defense forces great turnovers to get great field position. And I think Daniel Jones is being a better version of who he can be, which is, I don't think he's ever going to truly elevate a team, but man, if you set up the right team around him, and he feels healthy, and his whole thing with him is confidence, he will hum along. And I think that's what you're getting at Daniel Jones right now.
He's on pace for over 4,000 yards. He's leading the league in success rate.
Yeah.
Despite throwing the ball deep down the field, his interception rate is around the same where it was in 2022, where he led the league.
Yeah. But this is where I'm really interested in the Colts. They have played, of all the teams that currently occupy playoff spots, by far the easiest schedule in the NFL. Now it starts to tighten a little bit.
Colts -3.
All right. We're Oppo.
Saints at Rams. Rams are favorites at home. 14-point home favorites. The Tyler Shuck era has begun.
That's such a big number, man. Such a big number. But I think Shuck gets overwhelmed. I think it's a butt cheek clincher if you lay him, but I'll still lay it with the Rams.
Yeah, I think it's going to be rough for Tyler Shuck. I actually didn't think Spencer Rattler, for an awful situation that was the Saints, I actually didn't think Spencer Rattler was playing awful to the point where he needed to be benched like this. So,
but it's a win-win for the organization because you're either going to lose games and tank your way out to getting to the top 3 for a quarterback, or Tyler Shuck surprises you and maybe you actually found a guy in the second round.
Big game. Chiefs, Bills. Bills are at home, but Chiefs are still road favorites by 1.5 points.
I swore all year I would take the Bills in this game and then take the Chiefs to beat the Bills in Buffalo in the playoffs because I really feel like that's going to happen. But, man, the Oliver injury, Buffalo's defense right now, and the Chiefs are kind of peaking at the right time. I'm taking Kansas City.
Yeah, they would fall to 5-4 if
Weird Buffalo year.
If the Bills do what they normally do in the regular season.
I think the loser of this game is technically out of a playoff spot at the end of the week.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah, so and for that, yeah, I think the Chiefs are just going to find a way to win. Them falling to 5-4 would feel like that's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They're also not. They're not playing like they're playing well. Start of the season really screwed them.
Rashee Rice
on my 7-1 fantasy team. Seahawks at Commanders. Seahawks are on the road, and they are favorites by 3 points. And I'm taking the Seahawks here. They're perfect on the road. They're actually better on the road than they are at home. And I think they're humming right now. Sam Darnold, best quarterback in the NFL? Question mark. Give me the Seahawks.
I'm swerving. I'm going to take the Commanders with Daniels back, even without Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
Seattle's good. They ain't that good. They're going to have to rack. I mean, how many wins is Seattle getting to this year? They getting to 12. They getting to 11. At some point, you're going to have to find some of these losses. Give me the Commanders with Jaden Daniels back at home.
Monday Night Football. This is a game that everybody wants. Cardinals and Cowboys. Why do they even do this? Why do they choose for this game? Because it's the Cowboys, I guess. Cowboys are home favorites by 2.5 points, and I think they cover, and I think they beat the crap out of the Cardinals.
I'm with you. They're going to score a bunch of points in this game. Don't love the defense. Arizona will make a couple plays, but just Arizona's running back situation's a disaster. Kyler Murray can't see over the line. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah. All right, Shaun. What do you got for this Sunday? Giants-49ers predictions.
I don't think it's a blowout this week. I think Jackson Dart plays with a little energy. I think we get the pop on the Jumbotron of Cam Scatterboo in a box. Crowd goes electric. Giants heartbroken with a field goal given up at the end. They lose 27-24.
49ers 31. Giants 20.
Okay. Kind of a bleh. And look, talking Giants listeners, I'll be walking the lot a couple hours before the game. I'm going to, this might be my only appearance at MetLife all year. I'm going to link up with Justin after the game to do the podcast. Find me. Say what's up. Let's do a shot. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. Go hang out with Snacks and L16 if you want. Shaun may stop by over there.
I put it this way, not in May. At some point, I will stop by L16. Definitely. That's a definite stop by. And
then we will be live from the warehouse after the game. And you want to know what? If they win, which there's a path. There's a path. There's a path. The 49ers don't have players on defense. They're a really bad rushing offense. So there should be a game that the Giants should maybe win, but they're probably not going to.
First podcast me and Justin will do together in person, too, will be this recap pod.
Total chaos.
Chaos.
All right, we'll see you Sunday. Let's go, Giants.
It starts today. Let's go, Giants! We woo!